These 16th and 18th scale cars have become so popular lately. We already have 3 16th scales, so I wanted to get another 18th. This is the DRC 9300. Fresh out of the box, I am very impressed with these shocks, comparatively speaking to other friction shocks. In the box, the truck itself. These are definitely decent remotes for these trucks. Next, we have a bag of items. Nothing wrong with getting a storage bag. We've got a brush to clean the car off if it gets dirty, especially maybe around the motor. We have the USB charger, a wheel wrench, extra body clips, wheel nuts, and screws, a screwdriver. Just go ahead and add that to the collection there. Wheel stiffener plates. These are metal, and you can screw them to the side of the wheels to give them extra strength. And it comes with all the screws and the Allen wrench to do that. We will put these on here in just a minute. And lastly, it's got the owner's manual. Most importantly, exploded parts diagram with all the part numbers and pictures for reference. They also show you how to reach them if you need to get parts that you're unable to find online or if you have any questions. Certainly nothing wrong with the standard monster truck body style, but we're gonna take these clips off, which have the pull tabs on them, making them much easier to remove. We're gonna see what we're working with underneath, and then we're gonna take it outside, see how it performs. Then we're going to give it a really good durability test like we always do. I almost forgot about the 2 batteries. It says polymer lithium ion, not lithium polymer. It looks and feels like a LiPo. I don't know why it says ion there. The regular lithium ion just says lithium ion, and they have circular cells. And these 2 LiPos say polymer, lithium polymer. So either this is the actual real name or it's a typo. LiPo typo? But either way, these do not come with your standard connectors, so you do have to use these unless you swap the connectors over. Which if you do switch over and go to a different battery, there is a little more room for a slightly longer one. And of course, we're going to time those batteries and see how much runtime we get out of them. Make sure you don't touch the motor after you've been running it. It is a 380 sized motor, brushed. 25 amp ESC, rated to run on 2S, of course, at 7.4 volts. A very easy to reach on-off switch. Out of the box, these batteries both have 74% charge to them. So we're going to charge this up right now so we can go out and run it today. Back to the car. Like mentioned, we do have friction shocks, but I do like the tension in the springs. We have our servo right there, and the servo saver is actually built into the bell crank assembly over here. Chassis is just one solid piece of plastic. I don't think we'll have any problems out of that, especially because it's complemented by a nice top-end chassis brace. All the plastic parts seem to have a good amount of flexibility. Helps keep things from snapping too easily. Pretty beefy control arms on the bottom as well. The upper arms are just standard plastic links. Same with the tie rods. There is no adjustment, but that's what I prefer because they don't break as easily. I mean, that drive shaft I think is thicker than some of my 12th scale cars. I don't think we're gonna have an issue out of that thing. The axle shafts are metal as well. Same thing in the rear. Some very beefy knuckles. Most of the steering components use metal ball studs. Much better than just standard screws. Now, the steering rack or Ackerman arm here is held on by screws. And the last thing to note is the plastic outdrive cups coming out of the differentials. That does mean that the differential gears are likely plastic. With this size car, I don't see that as a problem. If it's like the 14th scale DRC car we just reviewed, then it has metal input pinions at the end of the drive shafts, the center drive shaft that is. Personally, I don't think we're gonna have any trouble out of those differentials for quite a while. Now, you guys know I love front flips. Real quick, pause the video and put down in the comments if you think I'll be able to pull one off with this thing. Tires definitely don't have foam in them. You really don't need foam in tires for a car this small. They have a nice rubber compound. These feel like they'll be pretty grippy. And lastly, we'll talk about the body shell. It does seem very, very flimsy and most likely is going to end up cracking on us. But do not worry, that's something you're going to get on any car. And if you want to prevent that from happening, before you take any new RC car out, you should reinforce this. I'll put a link in this video to another video where I show you the best way to reinforce these bodies. And if you decide that you want one of these, there is a link right down below in the description of this video. Plus, DRC kind-heartedly gave me a 10% off coupon code to give to you guys, so that is listed there too. Just use that link I provided along with the coupon code and you'll get 10% off. Now we're going to put the wheel stiffeners on real quick. We're going to throw 3 AA batteries into the transmitter, which you do have to supply yourself. Can't jump that far. Oh my gosh, right on the nose. There we go. Oh!
Look what Mom did to my dirt.
Can you believe that?
Yes!
All right, let's see if we can get a front flip. Front flip. Oh yeah. That was a little messy. Oh. Now I was gonna do a speed test on this car, but unfortunately my speedometer is not working. I don't know why, it's fine. So instead what we'll do is a drag race against that. I believe I remember this car goes about 21 miles an hour. That was a close race. Oh yeah. Oh. Oh man. All right, one of these shocks separated right here. Doesn't look like anything's broken. Should just be able to pop it back together. Second battery. Oh yeah. How's it do in the grass? It bounces through the heavy clumps. How's it do in regular grass? Short grass. Not too bad. Oh. And there's battery. It's dead. If you like jumps and going fast, this is not going to be the car that you want to get. Let me say something about it real quick. This car ran for about 18 minutes on each battery. We think that this will be a good candidate for a brushless upgrade here very soon, right? Oh yeah, for sure. Because it's small and tough, so we'll probably put some slightly larger tires on it. A cheap budget brushless setup. Then we'll really be able to see how the plastic gears and everything else handles it. Well, let's talk about its performance and go over it and see if anything broke on it. Well, as you can tell here, the shocks didn't really handle that too well, unless they're going for the brand new frog leg suspension. This happened a couple times during this run. This one did pop right back in. This one here popped in as well, but it will come back out very easily because that other piece is broken. The body actually has very little damage on it. It didn't split and crack anywhere, which is quite surprising. The only thing it's got is a small little hole down here at the back of the shell in the corner. It would have been nice to have these red rings already installed because the screws that it comes with are very cheap grade metal, and some of them actually had different size hex heads than the wrench that they give you. Luckily, there were like 6 extra ones in the bag and I was able to make it work. But I did have to get out a different size Allen wrench for like 4 or 5. Like I said, my speedometer was broken, so I don't have an exact speed. But I feel like it was maybe a little bit slower than this one was that I reviewed 2 weeks ago. I'll have a clickable thumbnail on that car here in just a second. But that one went 15 miles an hour when I put a LiPo in it, 14 on the stock battery that it came with. This one's probably about the same, maybe a little bit less. I would say 13 or 14 miles an hour. And so I'll have links to both of those cars in the description of this video. Both of them have coupon codes that expire at the end of June. I think I'll have the expiration date in there. So I see no other damage on this car. Plus, I did get some front flips out of it, so if you thought that I couldn't, you better go ahead and pay up. Dude, there wasn't an actual bet. Oh, I didn't win any money? Oh, well.